See, we used what? I'll show you the one that I used was in my laptop, right? You won't, or you don't need exact same topology. Okay, I'll show you here. Not sure if this will open up. Yeah. So you can use this one. Feel free to use this one, right?
Okay.
What's the name of this lab? For people on 8088. Palo Alto. Yeah, this is the one. So paloalto.unl. This is your lab. People on 8088. Okay. We're not using Windows Server yet, but when we use, you won't have to switch your configuration to a new topology, right? So don't power on the Windows Server yet. Whenever you are practicing, just turn on the other devices. Let me just check the port numbers here. Management. Yeah. So yeah, the connectivity is correct. And for people on 8099, let me just check, because I myself use 8088 mostly. One, two, three.
I think the SAM lab is available on 8099.
Yeah, it has to be. So this is our trusted network. 10 network it is. What's the name? Yeah, paloalto.unl it is.
I believe last time I used that 10 network instead of the 21.
Yeah. No, something's wrong with this topology. So yeah, you have the same topology here. This one, paloalto.unl.
Okay.
Yep, that's the one. So you should be able to access this one, yeah? If you can try starting the device and see if you're getting the access. My username seemed to have a problem. So try yours and we can check.
I'm starting the Palo Alto.
Yeah, and Mustafa, you can share your screen now.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
yes.
Yeah. So I just released my first lecture. So and today lecture is my first lecture. So I'm not sure what you covered in our last lecture.
You mean yesterday? I mean in the previous class?
Yeah, previously.
That's okay. You'll have to go through the videos.
So
Sorry?
yeah. So I'm not able to see that your previous lecture. So that's it.
I don't know what you're saying. Your voice is not clear, man.
Okay, fine, sir. I'll ping this around.
You can put your query in the chat if that's okay.
Hi, Shukesh. This is Rajan from.
Yes, Rajan. Tell me.
Yeah, actually, lab I have received 8088. That is correct, no?
Yeah, that's correct.
In this, once you log in now, I can see high availability, IPsec, main topology, NAT topology. So 4 I can see. That is correct, no?
Yeah, that's correct. You ask your question. What
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, in this, actually, normally you know that no, whenever we are connecting the management interface, first I think the firewall management interface should be there. Firewall to PC, but I am getting only interface IP, not management IP.
Share your screen, please.
1 minute. Okay, I'm sharing right away. Sorry.
Sure.
So you are able to see my screen, no? I think.
Yes.
So let me explain. Okay, here, for example, here I have PC, here I have PC. So here I have,
Who
management.
created this lab for you?
No, actually, you support him only.
No, are we using this topology, Rajan?
No, I am not.
This is
Once I log in, I am getting this one. Only this 4 I am getting.
Click on the folder on the top, please.
Here, okay, okay.
Wrong folder, Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Here I will click, yeah.
Go down.
Okay, which one? This one or this one?
Further down.
paloalto.unl.
Further down. Yeah, you search for Palo Alto. Space. It's not there.
Close the lab. Click on close lab. Scroll down, please, until you see paloalto.unl.
This one, no? Lab UN.
That is Asif Palo Alto _UNL. Please scroll down until you see paloalto.unl.
Third, next,
Below
next,
one.
down,
Below
down.
one.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the one.
Click on it. Open.
Yes,
This
now
is
I
the
can
one.
see. Thank you. Actually, I thought of it.
No problem. Enjoy.
Sukesh, I know that you
Then
told
stop
us
my
to
screen sharing.
Yes, please.
wait for a while. I've started the Palo Alto. It's been more than 5 minutes, but I still can't log in with admin.
On 8088, you're saying, right?
Right.
That's okay. Wait for a couple more minutes. It takes time sometimes, if
Okay.
yeah. By another
I'm in.
another 5 minutes, it should be okay.
Yep, I'm in.
Okay, so what did we do last?
Bit of policies, security zones, bit of object group, kind of overall firewall.
Yeah, we created an object group, then zones. So after that, we start.
Inter-zone and intranet zone. Yeah.
This is not the one that we accessed. But instead of waiting for the new firewall to boot up, I mean, the one that we used, it is easier for us to configure the IP addresses again. At least we'll see things again and we will not have to wait doing nothing. All right, so let me just quickly configure the IP addresses. Set device config. System type static.
So this CLI is acting a bit weird. I'm not able to type in the config command, given spaces.
Hang on,
Can I share my screen? Okay.
give me a moment. 1.10 it is. Yes, go ahead, Saurabh. Share your screen.
Sure. Should I have to use the tab functionality? Just share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see your screen now.
So if I type CUNFIG, look, it's giving me a space, and if I hit enter,
Because
I'll
you're
go
already
for-
in the configure mode.
no, I know. What I'm saying earlier when I was typing this command, it was giving me this space in between F and I, and it was not taking the point. I know I'm in config mode.
Okay. the
I can't.
error is
I
on
can't even
screen.
scroll it up. How would I scroll?
Yeah,
this
you
up?
can't scroll up. You cannot, because this is console, right?
Okay.
In console you cannot. I mean, when you're accessing it through HTML5, if you want those, if you want to access more of CLI, I recommend just give the management IP address here and then go back to the PC that it is connected to in the topology and do SSH from there.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. 192.168.1.1 with HTTPS. And similarly, you could use this putty here and do SSH, okay? This is better way of accessing the CLI. Okay, so just for people who are joining for the first day, simply what we are going to configure is the firewall Ethernet 1/1 will be part of the trust zone. 1/2 will be in DMZ, and 1/3 will be part of untrust. Right, so just configuring those IP addresses quickly, and then we will create policies and we'll see how we can allow. That's all we did, right? In the last lab, guys, we gave IP addresses and we understood how interface management profile works.
Yes, we have seen.
That's all we did, right? Did we create security policies as well?
Yeah, we created a security policy for IP address zone.
We created one for internet.
Only for PIN purpose we have done.
And I believe one policy we created from trust to DMZ.
Right, okay. So all .1 on all the interfaces in their respective networks. And I will straight away create a management profile as well. Let's name it ping. On Ethernet 1/2, I will let it have IP addresses on DHCP.
I think that was Ethernet 1/3.
The last time 3 only, correct? 3 only internet, 2.
Okay, okay, all right. Mm, 72.16 1.1. Now this management profile, these are not mandatory, guys, to configure the IP addresses or the interfaces. The bare minimum configuration would be the interface type, the IP address, virtual router, and the security zone. Everything else is optional. And I request you all to stay on mute until you're not talking so that we have minimum disturbance.
Yes, just I noticed. What is the meaning of this one? Untag, untag, untag. Is that showing now?
That was Ratnesh, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
So, Ratnesh, let's just focus on what I am doing first, and then we can take questions, okay? You will see a lot of things on the GUI. We cannot be, talking about each and everything at the same time. Okay, so just hold your question. We will take it. To answer it now, these are just the VLAN tags. They not even VLAN tags, they're just for management. You can name your interfaces basically. And if they bother you, you can simply deselect them. All right.
All right.
Now we'll need a default route as well, pointing towards internet. We only created a policy. We did not really pass the traffic through the firewall, I believe. right? So let's do that. And to proceed further, we will require a commit, because unless I commit, it will not take IP address, and with DHCP, we will also get a default route. On the PC, I will give the gateway of the firewall. Since the PC is directly connected here to the internet as well, what I will do is I will disable Ethernet 2, and we will push the PC here to send the traffic on Ethernet 1/1 and then through the firewall to the internet. Right, so I'll give the gateway 10.0.0.1, which is of the firewall, DNS as well. Let's just disable it. So what do we have now? We have Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. How do you see it is on the inside, if you see it is local area connection and then local area connection 2, and the other one was 5. So just read it as 0, 2, and 5. So 0, 2, and 5 in the increasing order, and 0, 1, and 2 in the increasing order here. So that's how they are mapped. So Ethernet 0 is mapped with local area connection. Ethernet 1 is mapped with local area connection 2, and Ethernet 2 is with local area connection 5. And I believe you can rename them as well if you can. We anyway, that's not important, but that's how they are mapped. Okay, now let's move on to creating a policy. Now, as per the default routes, sorry, not routes, the default rules of the firewall, what we will do is we will require a policy, because we want to communicate from trust zone to untrust zone. This is the default policy. Intra-zone is allowed by default and inter-zone is denied. So right now, if you try to go out, you will be denied. So let's simply create a policy. We created objects as well, right? Object groups. No, I remember.
No,
Yes, we did.
No?
We did for 10 network.
Okay. So the very first parameter that we are defining here is source zone. So the traffic that we are trying to allow through the firewall, the source zone is trust. It is coming from 10.0.0.10. If you write it like this, it is treated as /32. Right? So writing it like, what's happening? Why is it disappearing? Right, so if you define /32 or you don't define the mask at all, it's the same thing. Go to the destination, specify the zone, the address on internet, it could be anything, right? And application, any application for any service, and the action is allow. Right now, if you see, we have a section here, which is, if you select this, it will tell you what all rules are unused at the moment. So these two rules, they are unused at this moment. When we will have traffic passing through them, you will be able to see the hit counts on the right. This, you'll be able to see the hit counts and they will not be unused anymore. Okay, after this, I will simply commit, because every time you make changes, you'll have to commit to the firewall. Yes.
Good evening, Radha. Hello.
Right,
Yeah,
mute
good
together.
evening. Is there any major call, major issue, Radha? Hello.
Sukesh, you can make him mute.
Yeah, I did. Apparently, there's someone Radha in the participants. All right. So this was good. Let's try to access internet. Are we able to?
Have we done NAT? Sukesh,
Sorry,
natting.
netting नहीं अभी नहीं किया है. We will do. That is what I'm wondering. Why are we able to ping?
Okay, yeah, that's it.
No, this is my PC. Sorry. To the host. See that what happens when you use the Windows button on the keyboard. So from the inside, if you see, we are not able to ping google.com. That means the user PC here is not able to get the mapping. You see, in the browser also, there's a DNS error that we're getting. So what is happening is the PC is querying the DNS, sending the package to the firewall. The firewall is indeed sending them forward. And we can verify that by clicking here. It's still refreshing. Hold on. Our IP address is correct, right? Config 10.0.0.10, 10.0.0.1. Anyway, let's just configure netting and see. So what is happening here is, guys, there is a router here on this cloud, right, which will have your NAT policies, right? And the NAT policy on that router will say that anything in this subnet, which subnet Ethernet 1/3. Let's just check what is the IP address on Ethernet 1/3. So how do you check that? Is this, and see, that is where the problem is.
Default route we configured.
Yeah, we haven't received an IP address yet on Ethernet 1/3. Let's check why is that. It's connected, correct?
Maybe DHCP services restart.
Windows 11 at times is annoying. Guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So yes, these are the adapters that I have. Management Cloud 0 means the very first network adapter, and that is connected to NAT, which is okay. Let's try changing because that did not give us the IP address. VNet 0. It's okay.
DLC.
Let's. I know what the problem is. It will require a reboot. Let's just create the NAT policies first, and then we'll go to the reboot. And by the time it reboots, we can talk about the problems that you're facing, or we can go towards the next topic. Right? Let's just create the NAT policy first, and then I'll explain the entire thing again. I'll summarize it. So what's happening here is, actually, you know what? Just give me one quick minute. Let me set things up and then we will talk. Okay, I'll let them boot now. So what we're trying here is, why do we need NATing is, you have a router here which is supposed to give IP addresses to Ethernet 1/3 from 192.168.1.0 subnet, right? That's what we are getting IP address from. If you see this 1.35, what is that router? That is router, that's my home router, which is letting us connect to it. Right, and that router has a policy that all the IP addresses which are coming from 192.168.1.0 will go to internet, right? So just imagine this is a router here. Right, so just imagine that this is how it is connected. You go to the router will do the NATing and then will take you to the internet. So in such cases, what will happen is you will notice the firewall is able to go to the internet, right? Because the firewall is getting an IP address from 192.168.1.0 subnet, right? Which is which has a policy, a NAT policy that yes, you can convert your private subnet to public IP address and then you can go out. But here in this case, this PC does not have IP address from 192.168 subnet, right? This has the 10 network subnet. Of course, it has 192.168, but that is connected to the management. And when it is connected to the management, it will only connect to the management. It will not be passing data traffic or any other traffic through it. So for that, you have Ethernet 1/1, the data port. So when the traffic goes from Ethernet 1/1 to Ethernet 1/3, it gets NATed. It is supposed to get NATed so that it is changed from 10 network to whatever is on Ethernet 1/3. And then further, this router will again do NATing, and then will go out on internet. So of course, you need this double NATing here in the lab only, right? In productions, you don't do it. You will do it on the single device only. Okay, so that's why we need NATing here. And I will create a NAT, but in the coming classes, we will discuss different type of NATing in detail. For now, we'll just create a policy for it so that we can allow the communication that we are trying. Right, and at this stage, you'll have to wait for the firewall to get ready. It's not ready yet. This will take 5-6 minutes, guys. So if you're facing some problems or any other questions you have, go ahead.
Hello, Sukesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, while creating policy on a firewall, there is an
Mhm.
option of a log setting. Why it is by default it is selected as the save log at the end? Why there is no option selected as a save log at the end of the connection? So is there any specific reason?
Okay, logging at the start of the
Yes,
session and end of the session, you mean?
correct.
Okay. So that's the default. You can definitely change that.
Okay.
That's only a default. You can change it.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, this is Jawad.
Yeah.
Actually, Sukesh, I need your help to understand the packet flow of Palo Alto.
Yeah, we will do that. Once we do NATing, we will understand the flow.
Okay, okay.
Okay, good. So we're now able to log in. I hope the DHCP has given us an IP address. Okay, great. So we have an IP address now on Ethernet 1/3, which is 1.36. And now we see the hits on the very first policy, which is letting us go out on internet. But still, you see there is no internet that we are able to access. And here also we were not able to ping. That is all because of natting. So what is happening right now is the request, the DNS request, they are getting forwarded to this router, and this router is rejecting them. Why? Because they are coming with a different source IP address. They're coming from 10.0010 now. And the router is expecting them to come from 192.168 1.0 network. Right? So on the firewall 1/3, we have 1.36. So we will NAT all the traffic that leaves the firewall. We will create a policy, and it will take out the IP address of 1/3 as a source. Okay, so the router will NAT it further, and then we will access internet. So simply just go click on NATing under security policies, click on add, and let's just call it source NAT. The original packet, well, I'll talk about it, okay, in detail about NATing. We're just creating one policy here now. It'll be coming from trust. It'll go to untrust. We don't have to choose destination, interface, and service. That can be checked by the default virtual router, and it will anyway forward it accordingly. Right? Source address can be defined, that is 10.0010. The source and destination both can be translated. In this case, we just have to translate the IP address on the source with the interface address. Which interface? 1/3. What happened? DHCP 192.168.1.36. Now, still a problem. You see the red here.
Yeah, actually source IP was not taken there, no? Source address.
So it again got disappeared. What's happening here? I don't know. 10.0.0. I think it's all because of my mouse. 10.0.0.10. Okay. Again, we'll have to commit to bring your changes to effect.
So Sukesh, this is not messing up because that 192 we have already used on the management plane. That is separately different from the data one.
That's completely different management plane, different data plane.
Because on that also we are using 192.168, right?
Right. That's completely fine. Of course, on data interfaces, you cannot have overlapping addresses. You can think of it as, the management interface is not part of the same virtual router.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you ping from the firewall is you do ping host 8.8.8.8, and this should be pingable, right? But we are not able to ping this. You see, destination host unreachable. You got a reply from 192.168.1.1. What does that mean?
Because you have not
It's-
netted your IP, no? You have a netted different IP, right?
It's
Sorry?
taking the management as the source.
Yes. So
With
because by
undivided.
default, since this is we are trying from the firewall now, by default, when you want your firewall to communicate, it is only communicating from the management interface. Right? So if you want your ping request or ICMP request to go out via 1/3, you will have to specify that. How we will specify that? Ping source 192.168.1.36, whatever is the IP address on 1/3, you'll put that here. And then you will specify the destination. Yeah, 8.8 is not pingable. Probably something wrong with 8.8. Right, so that's how it is. Let's create another policy for trust to DMZ, right? This time you tell me the parameters. The DMZ has 172.16.1.10. IP, HTTP, authentication, local. This is all to enable HTTP service and authenticate locally, and also give a password. Right now, if I were to create a policy from trust to DMZ, from the PC to the DMZ web, what will be the direction of the policy from trust to DMZ? Now, do I require, let me ask you a question. Right, Ratnesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. Tell me, will I require a policy in both the directions or just one direction? Just
what-
one way policy or both way policy?
Because one direction, na? Only going via DMG.
going from trust to DMZ,
Yeah.
right? Do I require a policy from DMZ to trust?
Yes, sir.
अरे सुनो पहले मैं क्या पूछ रहा हूँ क्या
हाँ.
yes sir do I require a policy from DMZ to trust?
Yes, sir. DMG to trust required policy. Trust to DMG not required because allow by default allowed.
Trust to DMZ is by default allowed, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so we should be able to ping from PC to the web, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's try that. 172.16 1.10. Right, see, we are not able to ping. What? You said we can ping by default, right? What is the default about the zones? Can you ping by default from a trust zone to DMZ? They are two different zones, Ratnesh.
Yeah.
So can you ping between two different zones by default?
No, sir. No. So both sides required policy.
इतना जल्दी क्यों इधर को जवाब देने का? सोच के बोलना. We are creating a policy from, or we are creating a traffic flow from trust to DMZ. Okay. Do I require a policy for the return traffic, which will be from DMZ to trust? Do we require?
No.
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 Let him answer, guys.
Sorry,
please.
Sukash, you are asking me, us or Ratnesh? So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let him answer, please.
Sir, reverse policy also required now.
Why? Were you there in the last session?
Yes, sir. Because this is a different segment. DMG is a different segment.
Did we create a policy? Just now we tested internet connectivity, right? So did we create a policy from untrust to trust for the ping response?
Yes.
Yes. तो भांग खा के बैठा है क्या? We just created one policy. Trust to untrust.
ट्रस्ट टू अनट्रस्ट के लिए वन पॉलिसी आपने इधर क्रिएट किया ना.
हाँ तो एक ही पॉलिसी किया ना भाई. We did not allow untrust to trust. Did we? किया क्या हमने? untrust to trust पॉलिसी बनाया है क्या यहाँ पे?
No, only one.
तो फिर यस क्यों बोल रहा है? So similarly, do we require a policy from DMZ to trust?
नहीं रिक्वायर्ड है.
What will be the, okay, let's name it trust to DMZ. What will be the source? Ratnesh.
सोर्स आईपी 10.0.0.10.
जोन पूछ रहा हूं मैं.
सोर्स जोन DMG. अरे सॉरी ट्रस्ट.
सोचो बोलने से पहले, ठीक है? What will be the address?
सोर्स 10.0.0.10.
What will be the source user?
Source
मस्ती
user,
कर रहा हूँ, वो अपन बाद में देखेंगे, ठीक है? What will be the destination?
172.16.1.10.
अरे सोच बोलने के पहले सोच, और स्क्रीन पे भी देख हम कहाँ पे हैं. We are at zone, destination zone.
DMG zone.
अरे यार, all right, should we be able to ping now from trust to DMZ? Ratnesh,
Yes, sir.
are you sure?
Yes.
सोच ले अभी भी, मौका है.
यदि पॉलिसी बना दे तब तो अलाउ कर देना.
कमिट नहीं किया है.
सॉरी, हाँ या कमिट नहीं किया.
करना पड़ेगा ना.
हाँ हाँ, without commit.
Always think step by step. That will make you good at troubleshooting. ठीक है? Everybody. Always think step by step. Okay, this should have been pinging. Let's check what went wrong. Show IP interface brief 172.16.1.10. Good. 00.00. IP route. There's a route as well pointing to 172.16.1.1. Check the mask as well. Mask is also good.
The router able to ping the gateway IP?
172.16.1.1. I think it took some time. It will ping now. Yeah. Okay. That explains. No wonder it was running slow. Anyway, so that's how it is. you will not have to allow things bidirectionally, right? So Ratnesh, why don't we have to allow it bidirectionally?
Yes, sir.
Ranjan or Raj, his name.
Yes, sir. Rajiv here, sir.
Yeah, tell me, why don't we require?
Yeah, sir, because we have started a session from the inside, trust to untrust. So there one session has been created, and due to that session, it's allowed from the outside to inside, because traffic is initiated from the inside. If we initiate the traffic from the outside, so it's not allowed.
Okay, you just explain why. You just explain what is happening.
Yeah, see,
The
suppose
word,
yeah,
the
sir.
word stateful packet inspection is missing
No, a stateful packet
in your
inspection is working
explanation.
here.
No, in your explanation, I'm saying the word.
Mhm.
If I were the interviewer and if I ask you this question as an interview question, I would expect you to tell me or talk about stateful packet inspection, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
what is happening here?
Yeah.
What made us choose only one-way security policy?
Yeah,
It is
due to the
stateful packet
stateful,
inspection.
yeah, due to stateful packet inspection.
Yeah, that's short and sweet answer.
Mhm.
We could be going from inside to outside or outside to inside, doesn't matter. We require one-way policy because there is a stateful packet inspection happening. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
The zone names could be different. In your network, you may not see trust, untrust. You may see the names with respect to VLANs. Right? Different networks will have different naming convention.
Yes.
So just go by the generic explanation, okay? All right, so now.
Okay, can you go to the policy tab? Sorry. If you remember last time we talked about the significance of having zones, right? So in this scenario, will it go to that first policy and then the second policy? Because this is definitely traffic between different zones.
Yeah, no, it won't go to first policy. It will straight away go to the second policy.
But how would the firewall know? I know we have defined like, but I'm not able to
with the
understand.
zone, the firewall will understand with the zone.
So first zone is same, whether it's coming from 10 network, it's same, like it's coming from the same trust zone.
See, with the significance of zone was with respect to the zone pair. So how the firewall looks at the zone pair of the communication. It looks at the source and the destination at the same time. Right? So from trust to untrust, and this one is from trust to DMZ.
But still it has to look at the first line. Trust zone hai, untrust zone hai.
But why will it look at the first line? It is DMZ clearly mentioned here, right?
Okay.
Well, what's the confusion? I didn't understand.
मतलब packet arrive हुआ with the source of 10, उसने देखा कि उस मतलब firewall को कैसे पता लग गया कि it's going to DMZ, मतलब वो rule 1 को भी तो check करेगा कि वो okay it's going to trust pair you're talking about.
Bro, the destination address is 172, na? That is why.
Okay.
It's with respect to the IP address. It's all the how Palo Alto process packets is SP3, single pass parallel processing. Right, so all the parameters, they get checked parallelly. What happens in Cisco? You check things point by point, like step by step. And here things are happening parallelly. And this is not even the best way to have your policies, since the second one is more specific, right? With irrespective of the zone pair, this should be on top.
Sukesh,
And
sir.
that will be the correct way of doing it.
Sukesh, means the traffic will check is first rule first, right?
No.
Since you guys are still asking questions, let me bring it
Means-
back.
Means more specific should be in the top, right?
Yes. And always, most specific will always be on top.
Mhm.
But here, since the zone are different, it doesn't matter between these two. You can keep wherever you want to.
Mhm. So, sir, I have not the concept you said, like single pass parallel processing. It's not clear to me. What is? Could you elaborate?
I will talk about that later.
Okay,
That's
okay.
just a term about packet flow. So when we talk about the packet flow of the firewall, we will talk about it again.
Okay, got it.
So not very relevant here.
Sukesh.
Mhm.
So suppose they are having two rules. First rule, that is trust to any, and second rule is trust to DMG. So if the packet will come, it will match. First, it will check the first rule, right? Or it will not check.
It will not check.
Okay.
See, the zone, they play a role here. If the zones don't play a role, the packet will go as per the first rule,
Yes, right.
right? But since 170.16.1.10 is reachable via DMZ,
Sukesh, I have just one option. I mean, you tell that this is checking just due to SP3 architecture. So, like other firewalls don't have the SP3 architecture. So, shall they check one by one? I mean, they all follow the same practice, now as zone pairing only.
अरे यार तुम लोग कितना confuse हो रहे हो? See, the firewall, all the firewalls, okay? All the firewalls, they check their policies from top to bottom. Okay, one by one. All the firewalls. Here in Palo Alto, it is slightly different. It also checks it from top to bottom, but with respect to the zone pair. If I had something like this, if I had something like this, the firewall will start checking the communication with policy number 3, right? Because it is having trust to DMZ. You getting it, guys?
No, Sukesh.
Yes, sir.
Sukesh, just trust and untrust also, like that is also zone, two zone, right? Like trust and DMG, that is also zone. So there is no any significance between untrust and DMG. Means if I come to ASA, they are having some numbers. So that zone will define this is the lower priority or high priority. But in here, we can't set like that, right?
You cannot set because every zone is at the same security level here.
Yes. So means there is name is nothing is there, right? Just zone we are getting. Means like in top trust and trust. So two zone is there. Trust and DMG, that is also the two zones. So how is taking trust to DMG when the traffic going to 1.10 due to routing or something, or how?
Untrust to DMG, right?
Forget about zones for a minute, okay? Just forget about zones, okay?
Yes.
You will have to configure IP addresses on the interfaces, yes?
Yes.
In Palo Alto, when you configure IP addresses on the interfaces, what else do you configure?
Zone, zones.
Zones?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ethernet 1/2 here can reach 170.16.1.10. Will
right.
the firewall have this information in its routing table?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's
Yes.
directly connected.
So
Yeah.
अभी मैं बोल लो कि तुम लोग ही पढ़ा लोगे सारा. So 1/2 will also have the MAC address associated with 1.10. Yes.
Yes.
So when it has so much of information to relate that this communication is going from trust to DMZ, why will it keep on matching the policies between trust to untrust?
Yes. That was my doubt. Okay. That's clear.
Understood it now,
Yeah.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
So any relation between DMG and trust? Any policy?
We just created a policy, right?
DMG and untrust. Sir.
DMZ and untrust. No, we don't have a policy yet.
Okay. So we have to create this one as well, right?
If you have a communication in that flow, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why will you?
So Sukesh, if we take this scenario, जहाँ पे हमने we have from trust to DMZ, in the address field we have defined any. Okay, so उस case में तो it will match starting from the first policy because trust source trust zone is the same for like it's coming from the trust. But क्योंकि हमने address में any define किया है, तो it has to go through all the policies, right? नहीं समझ मेरा क्वेश्चन.
Okay, let's do one thing. Actually, there is no real way to verify that. The hit count will not be shown only when the policy will be selected, then the hit count will be shown.
मतलब you were saying कि zone pair में parallel processing होती है, वो IP के base पे depend करता है क्योंकि इसका जो destination इस zone में lie करता है. तो
All I'm
specifically
saying is the firewall will understand with the zone pair, and there is no, since right now if you see all the type, it is universal. All the policies will be checked.
Right.
Okay, from top to bottom. This type also specifies that how the zone pair will work. It's more of a reverse engineering sort of. First, the firewall is looking at all the details with respect to the IP addresses. Then it is choosing which zone it is in, the source and the destination both. And then it looks for, do we have a policy with respect to this zone pair? You're getting my point?
Yep.
See, when the packet reaches the firewall will look at all the details of the packet, yes? Source
Right.
IP, destination IP. The packet will not have any information about the destination zone.
Right.
Right? So it looks at the IP address. It tries to, browse through its routing table that how can I reach or can I reach that IP address? Right? Yes. It will further process and check for how can I reach that. It will realize that, okay, I can reach 172.16.1.0 network via 1/2. It will also have its ARP entry in this particular case, otherwise just a route, right? So all of this will, the moment it selects 1/2, it selects that it is going from trust to DMZ. Now, when it is the time to let it go, now the firewall is checking, should I pass this traffic or no? Right? The first thing firewall is checking is, can I pass this traffic or no? Right? do I have routing? Do I have all the necessary parameters to pass this traffic? If the answer is yes, then the firewall is checking for the next question. Should I pass this traffic? Then it checks for the policies. Then where is the traffic passing? Trust to DMZ. At this point, the firewall understands that the traffic is going from trust to DMZ. All it is checking is, should I let the traffic pass? So it will be checking for all the policies which are between these two zone pairs.
Okay.
You getting my point?
Yep.
See, when you're standing at a bus stop and you have to go to point A, you will only be worried about the bus leaving for point A. Right? There are so many buses here, right? There are so many buses here in this policy. So like you will choose on the basis of your time and whatever. So you will only be interested in the bus going for point A. So similarly, the firewall is interested only in the zone pair where the traffic is going from trust to DMZ. And then it will check all the policies from top to bottom, which are related to trust and DMZ. Right? If you don't understand this at this point, just forget everything, right? And just keep in mind that all the policies will be checked from top to bottom. That's it.
Okay.
Right? It is not a very important thing for you to understand that how is this working. If you don't understand it or you're not able to put your head around it, not able to digest it, it's okay. Right? Just keep in mind that everything is top to bottom and the more specific policies will be on top. That's it. All right, are we good at this point?
Yep.
Okay. What else now I have to tell you? We'll come back to this policy optimizer. Let's talk about committing. So when you commit, you have a couple options available here. Okay. Like preview changes, change summary, and validate commit. So the validation part is anyway done when you simply click on commit here without validating it, right? It always validates before pushing it to the firewall. And in the validation, what will be checked? Everything like the syntax and the placement, and if there are any warnings or errors. For example, you're creating a policy wrong. Say, for instance, at number 5, you're creating a policy which is very specific, which is host specific, right? And the placement, the ideal placement of it should be on top because it is specific, right? But when you create it at number 5 and you click on commit, it will be validated. You will not be getting an error, right? Because the syntax of creating the policy is perfect. It's just the placement of the policy. So you'll get a warning, right? That so-and-so rule is placed at here and it is not the ideal location, it will never be matched, and sort of a message you will get. Right, so all the validation is anyway being done by the firewall, but just if you want to validate it manually and then further keep on editing or keep on making further changes, let's say you're working on a big change, so midway you can validate and check if you're going in the right direction, right? If there are any errors, the firewall will let you know. If you go towards the top, you have two options: commit all changes and commit changes made by. And in the grayed out, you see admin, which is the username of the user that is logged in right now and making changes right now. Right, so that's admin. In production, what you should be doing is this, right? Because you never know if the other engineer is working on the firewall, is he making changes? Is he making correct changes, right? You would not want to commit anybody else's changes, right? So two people could be simultaneously working on the firewall. So always just commit your change in production, yeah? You can preview the changes, simply click on it, and it will tell you in the CLI way. A line of context is like plus minus 10 lines, it will show you. Right, there's a little color coding here. These are the things added. On the left is the local configuration, I mean the running configuration, and on the right you have candidate configuration, the changes that you have made. The change summary will give you this information that it's more like an audit, that who did what. And we don't have to commit this, and you go to the device. Remember, I told you that the firewall, when it is communicating, when we tried pinging 8.8 from the firewall, it took the management route, right? And we had to specify the host and also the source through which it will go out. So what if you want that to change, right? You want to alter that default behavior, and you want always it should communicate on 1/3. Although that is not recommended, and you should not be doing it. But in some networks, what happens is the management network may or may not have connectivity towards internet. So in that case, by default, when the firewall tries to reach for updates and vulnerability updates from the Palo Alto servers, the firewall will not be able to get that. It will not be able to validate its license, and you will have trouble. So to overcome that, what you do is you go to the device under services. Under services, you have this service route configuration. By default, what we have is use management interface for all. You could customize this and select for which service, which interface will be used by the firewall to communicate. Say, for example, Radius. If there is any internal server, Radius server to which you want VPN users, VPN users to be authenticated, then you'll have to check this and change how the radius is connected. Right? You may choose 1/1, 1/2, wherever the radius server is connected. Right? And similarly, for example, Palo Alto network services. or updates from Panorama. Right? Panorama is again a centralized system through which you can manage multiple Palo Alto firewalls. It's like a device or a VM, physical or a VM both. Right? So you can make changes here on the basis of what you require. So for now, we don't have to make that change.
But if we change the service route configuration, हमें policies भी तो साथ में डालने पड़ेंगे, because it's changing default behavior.
What policies?
Means if you want your communication to happen from one interface to another interface, और वो different zone में होंगे तो policies भी तो हम डालेंगे इसमें. नहीं.
Sorry, I don't follow. Sorry.
Just
I
click
don't
on the
understand.
service route configuration. That service route configuration option on the
So
GUI.
no, you don't require policy. You just require your firewall to communicate with that. See, all that is service route configuration. Service route means the firewall require those services. Right? All those services, if you see, firewall will be directly communicating on those services.
ठीक है.
Right? Some features like user ID and all, they need to be enabled on the zone and on the interface level as well. But we'll come to that point. That service route configuration is for example, the DNS queries. The firewall wants to send DNS queries, not the one that is receiving from the backend, not the forwarded DNS queries. Right? The firewall is trying to reach to some URL, and then the firewall will create a DNS query, right, for that URL. So that will go out by management by default, but if you want it to go out on 1/3, you'll have to make changes into the service route configuration, and that's it. No other security policy or anything else required.
Like you were talking about, for people coming through VPN, they might be landing in different zone, and if you have specified communication to the radio server through a different interface, in that case, so we have to define a policy.
You will have to define a policy for the VPN traffic, not for the radius authentication.
Okay.
Right? Because the radius authentication will not be done by the client. The client will present its credential to the firewall, and the firewall will communicate with the radius server.
Okay, I got your point.
Okay. What else here? In the user sections, for example, you want to create multiple administrators. Normally, you don't really use this in production, but just an FYI, I think. You can create multiple administrators with different privileges. For example, you could create a read-only admin role. So what I'm creating is, I'm creating an admin role profile, and these are all the legends. If you have this, it means it is enabled and you have full access to it. Disable means you will not see this option in the GUI. Right? If you mark this, why am I not getting read only? Monitor is anyway read-only. Objects and policies are, yeah. So this is where you get the read-only icon. We were trying on monitor, so monitoring is anyway read-only, right? You cannot make changes through that tab. So like in security policy, I just made security policy, NAT policy, QoS, right? Decryption policies, everything just read-only. Or you could, completely disable them as well. All right, so this is our read-only role. Let's create an admin here. Let's call it user one. Authentication profile means none. Use only one client. So we don't have that dynamic, we have role-based, right? So from role-based, you select read-only. If you have a password profile, you can have that, which means those complexities. You see, now we selected configuration changes only by admin. So you will get this message, partial changes to commit. Okay, a successful commit. Let's log out. How do you log out? On the bottom left. So we now are logging in with user one. And as per our admin role, we will have those read-only restrictions in place. See, now we still have all the tabs. If we had selected those disabled icons, then these will disappear. Wherever you select disable, that tab will disappear. You see, you can view the policies, but you cannot create new policies. And if you click on it and try to make changes, you see it is read only now. You cannot make changes. You select this, nothing happens. You cannot delete it, cannot modify it, nothing. Right? See? Not even able to click on these. So that's how you can control the access of the firewall for the new users who are still learning, or you can completely disable it. Okay, so that's it for now. In the coming session, we will discuss more about security policy, that is policy optimizer, and then the application and the services tab, we will talk about that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Practice what we have done so far. This will make you confident, although what we have done right now is pretty basic, but those who are doing or learning firewall for the first time, it will give you a lot of confidence when you're able to do this much. Okay, so try that, try the admin roles, try different roles, try different password profiles. Okay.
Okay, sir. Here, you can configure the duplicate policies. So we can delete that directly, or we can only first disable the direct policy.
No, you can delete it directly. That's okay. Simply
So
select.
how can we
click
delete
on
this?
delete.
Need to be first disable that policy. After that, we can delete, or directly we can delete that.
You can delete directly. That's what I'm saying.
Can you show me? So here, sir, it's possible.
Yes.
Actually, here.
Just to select and minus is deletes there, right? Can do that, I think.
Sorry, you're asking me to show you how it is
Yes,
done?
sir.
No, I will not show you.
Okay.
Just
right. Log in, click, build your lab, click on it and click on delete. Okay. Don't expect spoon feeding from me, please.
Hi, Sukesh. I want to see that NAT policies. Could you please open the NAT and have some doubt in the translated packet? Just NAT. Okay.
Right. You have a question here?
Yeah, under the source translations, there is one option called IP address. It's none. Would you be able to edit it here? Go back and just click that source net options. Yeah, double click on that. Yeah, sorry. On the translated packet.
Under translated packet. Okay.
Yeah. IP address is none. Okay.
IP address is none. Is this what you're?
Yes. Yes.
What is bothering you?
Yes.
It's none
I did.
because, Ethernet 1/3 is taking IP addresses from DHCP. If it were static, you would have seen the IP address here.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I did the same, but mine is not working. Maybe next class we'll see that.
You did same what?
Similar configurations I did on my lab, but I'm not able to ping to internet. Then it's not working.
That's okay. Try again. You know new things now. So try to troubleshoot. If you're still not able to go through, put it on the group. We can discuss. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Sukesh.
Hello, Sukesh.
Yes.
Jawad this side.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sukesh, if by mistake I deleted any policy from any specific firewall, is that impact the panorama also, or is that impact the only the specific firewall?
If you are removing a policy from where you're using it, you're using Panorama to remove that, or the firewall GUI?
Firewall GUI.
So see, when the firewall is being managed by Panorama, you should not be logging into the firewall directly, one thing. And if
Okay.
you're logged in and you delete, it will result in synchronization breakage between the Palo Alto and the firewall.
Okay.
Right? Because as per Panorama, you have 10 policies, but the firewall says I have 9 policies. So there'll be a mismatch and you will see undesired behavior or some alarms on the dashboard. It won't affect the data, but when you make new changes through Panorama, the firewall will be like, decide how do you want to configure me, right? You want to access Panorama or you want to access directly, right? So if the firewall is being managed by Panorama, always use Panorama to make changes.
Okay. One another question is there. If anyhow we have done the same changes, so Panorama will push the same policy again on that device or not? Or it will show that alert?
Do it on its own. It will not do it on its own, but you will have to do that manually. Yes, if you happen to do it accidentally through the firewall and you'll have to manually go and push the policies again from the Panorama. Or you could revert the changes, right? We'll talk about that anyway in the coming sessions. We will make some mistakes, try to revert, try to save our jobs. Yeah, I'll tell you things.
Okay, thank you, Sukesh.
No problem.
Sukesh, since we will be having a next class on next weekend, in case if you have any issues with the lab, we can discuss on the WhatsApp chat or the chat.
Yeah, definitely on the WhatsApp group. It's okay.
Okay.
That's the most convenient way to meet. That's why I prefer WhatsApp. There are other means, there are other ways, other apps as well that we follow, but those are not very handy. I mean, you'll require a laptop for them to access, and I'll have to wait to reply you until I have laptop with me, right? And at times when I have laptop, I will forget. So WhatsApp is the most convenient.
Okay.
Okay. And are you going to send us any Palo Alto document, admin guide, or?
Yes, I'll be sharing a lab guide with
Okay.
you all. Just try to follow that.
Sukesh, just one more thing. If you can provide us the Palo Alto image. Plus, I have
version. Did I not share the link yet? No, to the image? No.
No.
I have it handy. Give me a minute.
और पर्सनली अपने सिस्टम पे अगर ENG चला रहे हैं तो इसमें विंडोज सिस्टम को कैसे इमुलेट करते हैं, मतलब डॉकर के थ्रू कुछ डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के यूट्यूब से देख के
किसके थ्रू चलाना है? सॉरी,
ENG में पर्सनल सिस्टम पे चला रहे हैं तो विंडोज सिस्टम को कैसे इमुलेट करेंगे, मतलब डॉकर के थ्रू
विंडोज सिस्टम को कैसे अपडेट करेंगे,
एमुलेट करेंगे, मतलब जैसे हम इस पे भी क्लिक करते हैं कि
ओके, आई हर्ड अपडेट.
नहीं अपडेट नहीं करना,
विंडोज का भी इमेज लगेगा, बट इफ यू आर डूइंग इट ऑन योर सिस्टम, you can survive without having the Windows image. You could use your host machine as a client PC. The disabling part, let me share the screen again. We did this disabling part right here on internet too. This you will not be able to do if you use your machine here. All you will have to do is connect this cloud directly to the Palo Alto, and your PC, the browser will be able to communicate with this VM inside EVE-NG. And you provided you keep this setting on the VMware, right? The very first adapter, keep it bridged automatic, right? And this one here, the cloud, it has to be management cloud 0. You connect through it. Management cloud 0 means you will get IP address via DHCP. So wherever you connect cloud 0, it will give IP addresses via DHCP. So for example, Ethernet 1 and Ethernet 1/3, they cannot be in the same subnet, right? So for 1/1, you can use the same adapter. For the second one, use the next adapter. And here inside the EVE-NG, how do you connect that adapter? By the next cloud. So cloud 1 will be that next adapter that you add on VMware Workstation. Okay. Let me know if you are facing problem. Try doing it. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Right. And about the image. Camo. Where's Camo? Yeah. Just try to access this with viewing access. I think you should be able to download. Put this in the Zoom chat. Who's Lokesh? Lokesh seems to be enjoying the class with the kid. Lokesh? Lokesh, can you hear me? अरे बच्चे का फीस एक्स्ट्रा नहीं लगेगा भाई, बात तो कर ले यार.
Yes, sir, we are able to download that image.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So just download that image and put it with the same name. Do you see a folder when you click on the link, or you just
No,
see
sir,
the
only image, QCOW image.
QCOW image? Okay. So just download it in a folder and name it like this, Palo Alto. This must match this part. It has to be in small without any space, Palo Alto dash, and you may write whatever you want to after the dash.
Okay.
Lokesh, sorry, actually the size is 2.9 GB. So once downloaded, we can use directly, or we need any software?
What do you mean by directly?
No, just you share one link, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be downloaded. The size is 2.9 GB.
Right.
So this we can directly open and use, no? I think so. As a lab.
That's not a lab. That's an image.
Image, okay.
How
That's
you
Palo Alto image.
install Windows operating system?
Correct.
Right? It is like the image for Palo Alto operating system.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Is it for EVE-NG lab setup, right?
Yes,
Oh,
it's for
okay,
EVE-NG. So first you need VMware Workstation, then you need WinSCP, And then you need this image, and that's it.
Okay, thanks, sir.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Workstation.
I think Suresh, we can discuss S3 next class, no? S3.
Sorry, S3?
Yeah.
What's S3?
No, actually, he told us some single processing. Same time it
Oh,
will.
SP3. Okay. Single
Yes,
pass,
yes, sir.
parallel processing, the packet flow. Yes. Next week we will discuss that.
So SP3, okay, not S3. SP3, okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Then enjoy the weekend. Whatever is left.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Happy
Thank you.
Independence
Good
Day,
night.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye. Bye.